Hi guys, how's it going? Coach Kevin here, and we are doing a new series called Ask Me Why, which is connecting our sports techniques in football to the science behind it. So today we are going to focusing on push pass with the inside of the foot, and ever since you guys started playing football, the first technique which you guys might have learned would be a push pass. So even though there are different types of passes, push pass is one of the basic passes and one of the most important things in soccer. And as we learned as a part of the technique, the coaches would have taught you all these 5 things. So let me start with that. First thing is which part of the foot we use for the push pass. Basically, as I said, it's the inside of the foot, the broader surface, and the next thing would be the contact surface of the ball. Every time when you actually contact the ball, you are asked to kick it right in the middle of the ball. Okay, so the next one would be the direction foot. Every time when we pass the ball, we are supposed to place the non-kicking foot. If I'm a right footer, my left foot becomes a non-kicking foot. I am asked to place my non-kicking foot towards the direction where I want to pass the ball. So if I want to pass the ball there, my direction foot, the toes should be pointed towards there. And then next thing is called the follow through, which is every time when I connect the ball, I have to follow through with the ball, let the foot go along with the ball so that I don't hold myself resisting. Next thing is called the weight of the pass. Now as I did the follow through, you might have seen I did something with the ball in terms of contact, and based upon where we actually want to pass the ball towards the shorter distance or far distance, we actually say something called weight of the pass, which is the amount of energy or the force which you need to apply on the ball. So with regards to the science behind the push pass, there are few factors which we need to know in terms of physics. Like in our elementary school, we might have learned about force. What is force? Force is nothing but a push or a pull applied on an object. Now let's consider this football. This is an object. If I'm actually passing the ball, I'm applying a force on the object, and what the amount of energy or the force which I'm applying plays a key concept here. So whenever we talk about force, there is a bigger thing we have to look at, and there are different types of forces actually involved. There are 2 different types you might see here. It's called contact forces and non-contact forces. So when I actually kick the ball, I apply a force on the ball, and that's called the applied force. So when I apply the force on the ball, if you see there, after some time the ball comes to a halt. It is because of one of the contact forces, which is called friction, which is nothing but the resistance which is applied on the object because of it coming into contact with the grass. So there is friction, which is one of the contact forces, and there is also air resistance which comes into play when we kick the ball in the air. After a certain point of time, because of the air resisting from the other side, the speed of the ball lowers. So besides this, we have something called the normal force, which keeps the ball in place and which against the gravitational force acting on it. So if you look at the gravitational force, that's again a non-contact force which acts because of the weight pulling towards the earth on the object. So the other thing which we have to look at is called the center of mass. Any object, any uniform object, for that sake, a uniform object or a non-uniform object has the center of mass. Center of mass is nothing but the point where the entire concentration of the object lies. So, and the mass is equally distributed on that point towards the left or right, or from the top or the bottom. Now let's consider the example of a football, which is in terms of a solid sphere. Here the center of mass for a football is at its geometric center. So if we look here, whenever I actually apply a force on the ball, since my technique says that I have to kick in the middle, science also says the same. because what science says is if you have to have an object moving in a linear motion, you need to apply force on the center of the mass. So for me, the object football is a solid sphere, and apply the force in the middle of the ball. So I got the middle of the ball right. Now let me tell you why am I kicking the ball in the inside of the foot rather than my toe. Whenever I apply force on an object, I need to make sure that the force is applied equally distributed on the object so that it creates a motion on the object. If I'm actually applying with my toe, only part of my foot, a little part of region of my foot is applied, force is applied on the object, and hence you won't have ball moving for further distance. And for that sake, since a push pass is being taught at a very young age, when kids kick with their toes, they enjoy their toe. And other thing is also because of the size of the toe being small, there are chances that you might not hit it right in the center of mass of the object and the ball may deviate. Now let me explain the concept of why the middle of the foot, inside of the foot and right in the center of the middle of the foot. When I actually kick the ball right in the center, there is a linear motion, and whenever we talk about pass, we talk about accuracy. If I have to achieve my accuracy in terms of my passing, I need to pass it straight to the player where he is. So whenever I talk about straight passes, I connect the ball right in the center of the mass, and I connect it in the center of my foot so that there is no torque involved by kicking it in the sides. So this is the basic science